have divine assurances of good. I'm going to convince us that we have divine assurances of good from God. The Bible says in the book of 2 Peter that God has given us exceeding great and precious promises, even outlines that by these promises we are also partakers of the divine nature, that we transcended from the natural into the supernatural based on the promises of God. And do not forget that a promise is a divine assurance from good. It is God's personal guarantee. So hold on. I want to make this claim, this declaration, this assertion. I have never had a problem in my life. You're going to say, wait a minute, how can you say that you've never had a problem? Are you saying you've never been sick, never had a challenge, never had an obstacle, never had a problem? I'm going to say that I've never had a problem in my life. And after I explain it to you, you're probably going to say the same thing. But watch this, I've never had a problem in my life, because my definition of a problem is this: a situation or circumstance that arises for which there is no identifiable divine assurance of good in the Bible. Hold on. That's my definition of a problem. Something that comes up, a situation or a circumstance, something that comes up that is not covered by a divine assurance of good in the Bible. If something happens in my life that I cannot find a divine assurance of good to cover that, then I got a problem. Then I got a problem. I got a problem then. I only have a problem when there is no divine assurance of good guarantees from God. In other words, when I don't have a guarantee from God that that thing, that ever that has arisen, can be handled by a documented, declared, and pre-delivered promise. If I don't have that, then I got a problem. I've never run into that. I've never found anything that has arisen on this planet that has not already been covered by a divine assurance of good, by a personal guarantee from God. So because I've never run into that, I can wholeheartedly say that I've never had a problem one day in my life. Oh no, that's the reason why the Bible says in James chapter 1, we can count it all joy when we fall into diverse challenges and tests, knowing that the trying of our faith produces patience, but let patience have a perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in no area. That's why we can have a pep in our step when the Bible says, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice in Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. At some point, your paradigm will shift to recognize that if there is a guarantee of good from God, then we don't have no problem.